I apologize. Thank you for my tech crew. So that was not you, that was me. Sorry, my microphone was not on, but my tech crew just helped me out. I'm so glad that you have come to class tonight, and welcome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amanda, and this is the OLLI Beginning Yoga class. This is a free yoga opportunity that's put on through UVM's Continuing and Distance Education and the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute here at UVM. And I know some of you are members and regular participants, but if you're not, please do check out OLLI online. It's OLLI if you go on the UVM website. All kinds of wonderful offerings that they have going on. And if you're interested in becoming a member or making a donation, if you've been taking these classes for free, please consider doing that. OLLI's a great program, and I'm so appreciative to be able to share yoga with you guys online like this. Really, really cool. I'm hoping that you are in a space that is set up for you to practice yoga safely tonight. So that means some space for your arms where you won't knock over a lamp, a mat or a blanket, something like that. If you happen to have yoga blocks, they can be really helpful. I also enjoy having some sort of a blanket or towel nearby to be able to cushion your knees. And then finally, a yoga strap or something similar, whether it's a belt, a scarf, something like that, that we can use towards the end of our practice. But really the most important part is that you're here and that you've got your technology set up. The rest of it is just stuff to make you more comfortable. But I'm so glad that you made it. We're here in Vermont, and if you're here, you know that it is a absolutely gorgeous evening outside. So maybe you're set up outside or going to watch this class in the future. But it's so sunny and bright. And it really inspired me in putting together our class tonight. Oh, but I should mention, this is an all everybody welcome kind of a class. And so whether you are brand new to yoga, whether you've taken my classes before, you are very welcome here. And I want you to be practicing in a way that works best for your body in this moment. So not the expectation you have of yourself, not based on how your practice was last week, but rather how you're feeling right now. Maybe you were hiking today or sitting all day, swimming, who knows. Our bodies are all in different places at different times. So be kind to yourself, give yourself a break if you need to. And man, if your hamstrings are tight and you want to hold that forward fold a little bit longer, go for it, do that. So I mentioned it's a sunny day outside. And this upcoming weekend, you may know, is the summer solstice. I love this time of year, especially leading up to the solstice, because the days are so long. We have so much light. And for those of you who maybe don't know, the solstice is that one day going from spring into summer, where the proximity of the earth to the sun is such that we have equal parts of light and darkness. So cool. And this is something that has been happening forever over time. And so yogis have been really well aware of the influence of the sun. And so much so, recognizing in Hindu culture, Indian culture, all cultures, that the sun is a source of life. And in the yoga philosophy, not only do they see the sun as a source of life, but they also see it as a reflection of the light, of the goodness that we all have inside of us, which I think is really, really cool. In honor of that, the yoga practice has what we call the sun salutation. So a sun salutation, also called Surya Namaskar in Sanskrit, is the most famous sequence of yoga postures ever. It's 12 postures that go together in a flow, and we call that a sequence. And each of the postures is meant to lead in this sort of devotion or acknowledgement of the sun. Surya means sun, and namaskar, which comes from like namaste, means to bow or to adore. The origin of the sun salutations is very controversial in the yoga community. There are some people who say that it has been done for thousands of years, and it dates back, 2,500 years plus. And then there is another school of thought that, that sun salutations were actually developed in the early 1900s and then brought to the West in the 20s and 30s. And there's this element in the sun salutation that looks a little bit like a British burpee, so I think that there may be some credence to that early 1900s influence. The sun salutation links movement with breath, as much of yoga does, and it can be both athletic and meditative, either separately or together. So we're going to explore sun salutations today as we go through our practice. Sun salutations can be their own practice, so you can just do sun salutations and have that be your yoga. There's a lot of people that do that. Or I typically incorporate maybe one sun salutation into each of the classes that I teach. Traditionally, the number that the yogis would strive for in sun salutations was 108. Because 108 is a divine and sacred number, and so chanting, sun salutations were all done in numbers of 108. We are not going to do that today. That doesn't sound like us being kind to our bodies, but we are going to explore some acknowledgement of the sun today. So we'll begin by finding a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you tonight, sitting up nice and tall, maybe on a block, maybe directly on your mat or blanket. And make sure that the weight is evenly distributed between both of your hips and that you're sitting up nice and tall with your hands on your knees or thighs and with the crown of your head extended up towards the ceiling while your shoulders relax. You can sit cross-legged or with your legs extended or some variation. But find a nice tall seat and close your eyes or bring them to a soft gaze as you allow yourself to arrive for this sunny pre-solstice class. And in this nice tall seat, begin to connect with your breath, allowing it to flow steadily, breathing in and out through your nose. In yoga, traditionally, the inhale is when we find expansion, length, and space. So we always sit up taller in our seat on the inhale. Exhales are for grounding, for turning inward, and for contracting. So as you exhale, pull the belly in. Feel your hips ground down. And just take some nice, full breaths here. And as you settle into your seat and your breathing, I invite you to envision wherever it is that you would like to be on a beautiful sunny day, besides practicing yoga. Maybe it's outside or sitting in front of your favorite window. Let your mind's eye go to that place where you like to be in the sun. And do your best to picture yourself there. Notice the warm feeling of the sun on your skin. Maybe there's a gentle breeze and you can feel your hair tickling the back of your neck. Notice the brightness of the sun's rays coming through your closed eyelids. With every breath, let yourself be in the sun, wherever makes you happiest. still sitting up nice and tall. Bring your palms together in prayer position in front of your heart. This is also called Anjali Mudra. And we'll begin our practice together by chanting the universal sound of Om. It's the sound of the start of the universe. We're going to just chant it one time, as softly or as loudly as you would like tonight. So take a full exhale and a deep inhale for Om. Release your hands and gently let your eyes flutter open as you keep sitting up nice and tall in your seat. Keep your shoulders relaxed down on your back and extend your arms out to the sides with your palms facing straight ahead. As you inhale, float the fingertips up for a seated sun breath. As you exhale, palms face down, bring the chin down towards the chest. Inhale to float the palms up as you lift your gaze up towards the sun. As you exhale, palms turn down towards the ground as you drop your chin and gaze. Inhale, nice deep breath as you expand your arms out nice and wide. Then when you come up to the top, let the fingertips reach up towards the sky while your shoulders stay relaxed and the belly stays tucked in. As you exhale, gently twist towards the right. So bring your left hand to the right knee and the right hand comes behind you. Inhale to come back up to center. As you exhale, twist over to the left, bringing your right hand to the opposite knee, left hand behind you. Inhale and come back up to center. Take a look up, a little bit of a back bend. Exhale to come back to center and release your hands down to your thighs. If you're sitting on a block, it might be advisable to remove it so you're not up quite so high. Blanket can be nice here as we move into Dandasana, or staff pose. So extend your legs straight out in front of you. Feet are flexed and your legs are as straight as they can be, but goodness, if you need a bend, go for it. Do have a little soft bend back there if your hamstrings are tight. Sit up nice and tall, fingertips on either side of the hips. As you inhale, float your fingertips up, take a look up. Keep the belly tucked in, shoulders relaxed. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward, releasing your hands wherever's comfortable. So maybe it's the floor, your thighs or shins, or maybe you can reach your feet. Wherever you are, have a nice long neck here with the shoulders relaxed away from your ears. Nice long spine. Inhale and reach your arms back up overhead. Exhale and release them down by your sides. Bring the soles of your feet together for Baddha Konasana or cobbler pose. Your feet can be as close to your body or as far away from your body as you'd like, whatever is most comfortable for you. Hold on to your ankles or shins as you sit up nice and tall. Let gravity and the shape of your hips decide how far your knees are from the floor. A little bit of a back bend. Bring the shoulders on the back. Open up through the chest and neck. And on your next exhale, pull the belly in around the shoulders and spine. You can free your hands as you curl inward. Use your breath. Stay still in the legs here. As you inhale, come back up to center. And then using your hands, gently guide the knees together and come around onto all fours in a tabletop position. In tabletop, again, if your knees are tender, this might be a nice place for a blanket. The hips are aligned over your knees and your shoulders are over the wrists. It's a little slight engagement in the belly here to protect the low back. And then on an inhale, drop your belly and chest as you look up towards the sky. As you exhale, pull the belly in and around the shoulders as we do some cat-cow here, opening up through the back body. Inhaling to drop the belly and chest for cow pose. Exhale to round the spine. Press the shoulder blades up for cat pose. One more round. Inhale, maybe bend the elbows a little bit this time as the belly and chest drops. Exhale to press into the hands, straightening the arms, tucking the tailbone, tucking the chin, opening up through the shoulder blades. And then come back to a neutral spine. Strong and steady, extend your right arm out and extend your left leg directly behind. Nice. Keep reaching here. And then you can either stay here or join me in bending the lifted knee and with the right hand reaching behind, seeing if maybe you can make contact with your pants or your toes. And if you can't quite make contact tonight, no worries. Just stay as steady as you can wherever you're at. If you're holding onto the foot or reaching for it, on your next inhale, extend the arm and leg out nice and long. And then everyone drop your right hand to the floor and reach your left toes over towards the right side, taking a look over your right shoulder. So again, the left toes are going over towards the right side. You're looking over your right shoulder. Strong in the belly, lift the foot up and come on back to center. Lower the knee and just take any movements that might feel good here, whether it's wiggling the hips or the wrists. Make any adjustments that might be a little bit more kind to your body. Maybe you want to try out a blanket or walk your hands forward a little bit more. Nice and strong here. We'll do the other side. Extend your left arm straight out. Keep the shoulder engaged. On an inhale, extend the right leg directly behind with the toes flexed towards the floor, sole of the foot pressing towards the back wall. Nice. You can either work on holding steady here or bend the lifted knee and with the left hand reach behind. If you're able to make a connection with the ankle, try flexing the right foot back to protect the knee. Stay steady wherever you are. Give yourself credit for trying this out. If you're reaching for the foot, on an inhale, extend your arm and leg out nice and long, so we're all in an extended table. And then lower the left hand down to the floor and reach the right toes over towards the left side, taking a look over the left shoulder for a side stretch. Keep breathing here. Take a break if you need to. Spend more time if you need to. Strong in the belly, lift the foot up and come on back to center. Lower the knee, and once again, take any movements that might feel good in your body here. Move your hips back towards your heels and come on into a child's pose. So knees are wide, fingertips are reaching towards the top of the mat, so you have a nice long spine. Walk your hands in towards your knees and come on up to what I call standing on your knees. Again, feel free to adjust if you need to. But we're standing up nice and tall, and we're going to try a low sun salutation here. So we're thinking of this as mountain pose. Release your arms down by your sides, and your core is nice and strong. Inhale and float the fingertips up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, coming into a child's pose. Moving the hips back towards the heels. Inhale and come up to all fours in a tabletop position. Step your right foot forward to a lunge and bring the hands to the hips. Inhale and float your arms up overhead. And then we'll move the weight in the hips forward here to open up through the left side. Keep that front foot grounded. Nice job. Exhale to come back to center. Release your hands down towards the floor. Bring the right knee back. Exhale your way back into a child's pose. And on an inhale, make your way back up to mountain pose. Nice job. Other side. Inhale and float the arms up. Stay strong in the belly. Exhale and hinge at the hips. Fold forward. Come on into child's pose. Don't worry if it's not graceful. You have to do some adjusting to get there. Nice long spine. Inhale your way to all fours in a tabletop position. All right, this time we're going to step the left foot forward to a lunge, lining up the front knee and ankle. Bring your hands to your hips so you're nice and steady. Keep hugging in at the thighs, strong in the belly. Inhale and float your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, shift the weight in the hips forward to open up through your right hip. As you exhale, come on back and release your fingertips down to the floor. Bring your left knee back, and as you exhale, shift the hips back towards your heels for child's pose. Walk your hands in towards your body as you inhale. Sweep the arms all the way up. Connect the palms. Exhale and bring your hands to your heart. Nice job. Come back to all fours. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches. Walk your feet back a couple of inches. Tuck your toes and move your hips up and back to downward facing dog. So hands are shoulder width apart or wider, feet are hips distance apart, and you're pressing into the hands as the hips move up and back. Steady breath here. Walk your feet up towards your hands, coming to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Feet are hips distance apart and parallel. Head is relaxed. Legs are as straight as they can be, but if you need to have a bend in them, go for it. Press into your feet as you inhale. Reach your arms wide, coming all the way up. Palms reach up overhead. Exhale and bring your hands to heart center. Nice job. If you're not there already, find yourself up at the top of your mat. Make any adjustments that you need to. Get some water. And if you're using blocks, it's nice to have them up at the top of your mat for your practice. So I would recommend that if you're using blocks tonight. If you're not, no worries. Okay, so find yourself with your feet hips distance apart and parallel up at the top of your mat. Feel all four corners of your feet grounding into the floor, and feel the arches of your feet lifting, bringing energy up through your legs, knees, into the hips. Stand up nice and tall with your arms down by your sides and your core engaged. So pulling in the low belly, tucking the ribs. Nice. So we're going to first explore a basic sun salutation. So a little modification, really straightforward in terms of no variation to it. So let's see how this goes. Tall and strong here. Inhale and float your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Utthita Tadasana. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way forward. Uttanasana or forward bend. Step your right foot back to a lunge. Front knee is lined up over the front ankle and your hands are connected to the floor, or blocks can be nice here. Find a nice long spine. Press through the heel of the right foot to really get a good stretch on the right side while staying grounded in the front left foot. Plant your hands and make your way back to plank, top of a push-up. Maybe you need to drop the back knee first to get there, but we're going to end up with the shoulders over the wrists, core engaged, tailbone is tucked towards your heels. On an exhale, bring your body all the way down to the floor. You can drop your knees first or do a reverse push-up as you lower down. Point your toes, hands are under the shoulders. Nice and strong through the glutes, through the belly. As you exhale, peel your chest up off of the mat. And lower back down. Tuck your toes and make your way back to downward facing dog. You can press straight up through plank, or you can go onto all fours and tabletop. We're going to end up with the hands planted and the hips lifting. Take a look at your hands, and we're going to step the right foot forward to a lunge. So you might need to drop the left knee first to do that. Maybe using your hand would be helpful, or maybe you can sweep the leg through. But however you get there, find yourself in a lunge just like we did at the beginning of the sun salutation. So nice and solid, hands or fingertips connected to the floor or blocks. Quietly kick off the back foot and come forward to a forward fold. Bend your knees, inhale, reach the arms wide as you come all the way up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Nice job. Shake it out a little bit. So sun salutations have two sides. So that was one half of a very traditional sun salutation. There is no right way or specific exact sequence for sun salutations. We can't even decide what century it was that they came up with the sequence. So don't put pressure on yourself if you want to do this on your own and you're like, does plank come first? Is it down dog? Did I do my left side or my right side? Just practice with it and do the best that you can. Yay, other side. So again, a no variation sun salutation. Find mountain pose. Stand up nice and tall. As you inhale, float the fingertips up. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way forward. This time, step your left foot back to a lunge. One of the questions I get on sun salutations is how fast should they go? Yogi's choice. Find a nice long neck here. So you can go breath by breath. Inhale, exhale, or you could do a 5 count or a 3 count. Totally up to you and what kind of energy you want. Bring your hands to the floor. Make your way back to plank. Utthita Chaturanga, or top of a push-up. Nice and strong here. Steady breath. Be looking out on the floor ahead of your mat so that the neck is nice and long. And then either drop your knees and point your toes, or in one straight line, lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Toes are pointed, legs are straight, and hands are underneath your shoulders. As you exhale, peel the chest up for baby cobra or Bhujangasana. Exhale to lower yourself back down. Tuck your toes and make your way back to downward facing dog, however works best for you, either through tabletop or plank. Take a look at your hands, and this time we're going to step the left foot forward to a lunge. Get yourself situated, use your hand if you need to. This side might be a very different experience than the other side. Nice long neck, strong and steady. Kick off the back foot, come forward to a forward fold. Bend your knees, inhale, reach your arms wide as you come all the way up. Exhale, and hands come to heart center. Nice job. So that was a really cut and dry type of a sun salutation. And for some of you, there might be a little light bulb going, oh yeah, we do that in class. That looks really familiar. So I want to share with you a couple of variations on sun salutations so that if you're interested in incorporating this into your home practice, you have some ideas of things that might work best for your body or in any given moment. So if you're not there already, find yourself up at the top of your mat. Find mountain pose. We always start there. Nice and tall and strong. Feet are rooted. Crown of the head's extended. Inhale and float the fingertips up. Take a look up towards the sky. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way down. Relax the head. Step your right foot back to a lunge. Lower the right knee and point the back toe. And bring your hands to your hips. Nice. Inhale and float the arms up overhead. As you exhale, shift the weight forward in the hips like we did in that first mini sun salutation, opening up through the right side. Exhale and release your fingertips to the floor. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee so that you're now in a lunge. Right hand goes to the floor or a block as you reach your left fingertips up for a twist. So there's no twists in a traditional sun salutation, so that's part of why I love to incorporate them. Exhale to lower the lifted hand back down. Make your way back to plank, top of a push-up. Nice and strong here. And then lower the knees, point the toes, and using the strength of your arms, bring your torso all the way down. Hands are underneath your shoulders, and then walk your hands out so they're still in alignment with the shoulders, but off the edges of the mat, and bring your fingers to like steepled gecko hands, we call that. Press into the fingers as you exhale and peel the chest up for a modified cobra. Take a look over the right shoulder, and take a look over the left shoulder. Stay really strong in the belly to protect the low back. Make your way back to center. As you exhale, lower the chest back down. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes and work your way back to downward facing dog. Once you're in down dog, pedal the feet out, alternating, bringing each heel closer to the floor, moving the hips. And then come to stillness with the feet. From here, starting with your right foot, walk your way forward to the top of your mat, coming to a forward fold. In this forward fold, grab opposite elbows, let the head relax. Let the legs stay steady as you gently rock the torso from side to side in ragdoll. Release the elbows, bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms wide as you come on up. Connect the palms and bring your hands to your heart. Nice, all right. Side two. Find mountain pose, always a great reset to find yourself here. Inhale and reach up. Take a look up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and swan dive all the way forward. Legs are as straight as they can be. This time, step your left foot back to a lunge. And then drop the back knee and point the back toe, bringing your hands to your hips. Nice. Stay strong in the belly. Inhale, float your arms up. Keep your shoulders relaxed as you exhale. Shift the weight in the hips forward here, opening up through the left quad. And gently make your way back to center. Bring your hands down towards the floor or blocks. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. And then left hand goes to the block or the floor. As you inhale, sweep the right fingertips up. Lift your gaze, spiraling the chest. Exhale and lower the lifted hand back down. From here, make your way back to plank. Top of a push-up, nice and strong. And then right here you have this choice of, do you lower down in a reverse push-up or drop the knees? You decide based on how strong you're feeling today, but really be mindful and use as much control as you can when you lower down. Release your arms down by your sides with your palms face up. Squeeze the legs together, toes are pointed. Get strong in the belly, so squeeze the glutes, pull the lower abs in. As you exhale, see if you can lift your toes and your fingertips off the mat, maybe even your chest. Exhale to release back down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes and work your way back to downward facing dog. So you could do a push-up here and go through plank, or you can join me in coming into tabletop first, and then moving the hips up and back for Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a look at your hands, starting with the left foot. Walk your way forward, coming up to the top of your mat. Bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms wide as you come on up. Exhale and bring your hands to heart center. Nice job. All right, shake it out a little bit, get some water if you need to. And then when you're ready, make your way to the middle of your mat. Feet are hips distance apart and parallel. Stand up nice and tall here. Let your feet root down into the mat. Core is nice and strong. Inhale and float your arms up. Take a look up towards the sky. As you exhale, sit back for Utkatasana, or fierce pose. Some people call this chair pose as well. You're moving your hips back. Your knees are not blocking your view of your toes because of the way that your weight is shifted. And then bring your palms together in prayer in front of your heart. Bring your awareness to your left foot and begin to shift your weight, seeing if you can pour your weight into the left foot as you make the right foot nice and light. See if you can lift the right foot off of the floor, and maybe that's what you're working on tonight, or maybe you're able to cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Wherever you're at, give yourself credit. Try it out. Steady breath. Palms are together in prayer in front of your heart. Press into the standing leg and release your right foot down to the floor. Shake it out a little bit. And then find yourself once again in mountain pose. And remember, these balance postures are not meant to be instant perfection. None of this is. So continue to just try your best with it, even if you're still working on getting that foot off of the floor. Inhale to float the arms up. Exhale, sit back, Utkatasana. Bring your palms together in prayer in front of your heart. This time, shift the weight into the right foot as you start to free the left foot. And either see if you can stay really stable, finding space between your left foot and the floor, or if you can get it up there, flex the left foot, crossing the ankle over the right thigh for a standing figure 4. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Stay strong and grounded. And be really kind to yourself in this posture. All right, press into the standing foot, release the left foot down to the floor, and shake it out a little bit. All right, nice job. So we've done a really low sun salutation. We did it at the very beginning. We've done a standard sun salutation, and then we did one that had some modifications to it depending on where you're at in your physical practice. I wanted to offer up one more version of a sun salutation before we started to cool down tonight. So I've listed 3. That means we're going to do 4 when we complete this one, which is a little bit shy of our 108, but that's okay. It's progress, not perfection. So stand up nice and tall. Feel the crown of your head extending up towards the sky. Inhale and float the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way forward. Inhale up halfway to a flat back with your hands on your thighs and your elbows tucked in. Exhale to fold forward all the way down once again. Inhale and step your right foot back to a lunge. Once again, right hand comes to the floor or a block. As you inhale, float the left fingertips up. Exhale to lower the left hand back down. Make your way back to plank, top of a push-up. You can either work on getting really solid and steady in your plank, or you can elevate this posture a little bit by hovering the right foot off of the floor. It's a little bit of space between the right toes and the mat. If your foot is lifted, lower it. If you decided not to lift your foot, I don't blame you at all, especially at this point in the practice. On an exhale, bring yourself down to the floor. Maybe you're going to drop the knees first, like I am, or maybe you'll go down in one straight line, like a push-up. But come on all the way down to the mat. Extend your left arm straight out in front of you. Bend your right knee behind you. With the right hand, reach behind to see if you can grab a hold of your ankle, toes, or pants here. Get strong in the belly. If you're holding onto the ankle, flex the foot back. This is supposed to help open up your quad. On an exhale, see if you can lift the hand, maybe lift the knee up off of the floor. Exhale to release the arm. Release the foot down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes and make your way back to downward dog. You can go through tabletop or you can push up through plank. So we have these different ways of getting back to the top of the mat. We've done the stepping forward to a lunge. We've walked. You're welcome to take any of those variations, or you can join me in hopping up to the top of your mat. Maybe it's a bunch of little hops. Maybe it's one big hop, but come on up to a forward fold. Again, feel free to do any of the other variations of walking or lunging. Press into your feet. Inhale, reach the arms wide as you come all the way up. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Last sun salutation, last side. Here we go. Nice and strong in the belly as you reach the fingertips high. A little bit of a back bend here. Open up through the chest and the shoulders. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and swan dive all the way forward. See how straight your legs can be. Inhale up halfway to a flat back with your hands on your thighs and your elbows tucked in. Exhale and release back down to forward fold or Uttanasana. Step your left foot back to a lunge. Plant the left hand on the floor or a block. Inhale to sweep the right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale to release back down. Make your way back to plank, top of a push-up, however works best for you. And if at this point in the practice you're like, gosh, I could really use a child's pose, go for it. And if you were like, I've been waiting for this plank thing all evening, then let's go and hover the left foot off of the mat just a couple inches. Nice and strong, steady breath. If your foot is hovering, release the toes to the floor, and then make your way down to the mat however works best for you, either coming to your knees first or in one straight line. Straighten the legs, pointing the toes, and extend your right arm directly out in front of you. Bend the left knee, and with the left hand, reach behind. See if you can grab a hold of something here. If you can't quite reach, don't worry about it. Nice and strong in the belly. As you exhale, see if you can lift the front hand, lift the back knee up off of the floor. And exhale to release. Bring both of your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes and make your way back to downward dog, either through plank or through tabletop. Take a look at your hands. You can either hop, step, or lunge your way up to the top of your mat, coming to a forward fold. Bend your knees, inhale, reach your arms wide, come all the way up. Fingertips lift up towards the sun, connect the palms, exhale, and hands come to heart center. Yeah, you did it. Nice job. I hope that maybe you have some ideas now of how you can change up sun salutations to make it so that it's either a workout or a stretch that feels better for you. Yeah, so that's it for sun salutations during this practice tonight. I think we've explored enough of those, but it's time for us to start to cool down. So find yourself in mountain pose up at the top of your mat. Inhale and float the arms up. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way forward. Walk your way back to a downward facing dog. And I know some of you like to go plank into down dog. You're welcome to do that if that helps you with your hand and foot alignment. Take some full breaths here. Pedal your feet out, get some movement in the hips. And then come to stillness, lowering the knees, pointing the toes, and moving your hips back, coming on into Balasana or child's pose. Your knees can be wide or together. And feel free to experiment if you haven't tried one or the other. Your fingertips are reaching up towards the top of your mat as the hips sink back further. On your next inhale, make your way up to tabletop and then scoot around to a seat. And make yourself comfortable if you need your blanket or that sort of thing. Do what works best for you. And we'll start by coming to a wide-legged seat. And in this wide seat, you're sitting up nice and tall. The weight is even between both of your hips. The pelvis is tipped a little bit forward so that you're really proud in the chest. Shoulders are on the back. For some of us, if we have a more rounded low back, we kind of find ourselves more like this in a wide seat. If you're like, I can't figure out how to sit up taller, great opportunity to grab a blanket and stick it right behind the tailbone to give you a little bit of extra elevation if you have more of a rounded low back, rather. I do not have a rounded low back, so that's why I don't do that. But keeping that in mind for the other half of the population. Sit up nice and tall in this seat. Remember, whatever we do, we want the knees and toes to keep pointing up towards the ceiling. I'm going to start with the right arm and bring it down, either planting the hand on the floor or the back of the hand on the floor on the right side. Inhale and float the left arm up overhead. We're spiraling the chest up towards the sun here, so bring the left shoulder on the back. Keep breathing. Inhale to come through center and other side. So left hand comes to the floor, or I'm placing the back of my hand, if you're able to, on the mat. Inhale to reach the right arm up overhead, spiraling the chest up towards the sky, looking up. And if you find when you get here that this doesn't feel very good for you, you can always look down towards the floor or more in my direction. Inhale to come back up to center. Sit up nice and tall, being mindful of the knees and toes pointing towards the ceiling. As you exhale, start to walk the hands forward. Be kind to yourself. The goal here is not to try to place your forearms or your chest or anything like that on the floor. We're trying to get a nice stretch in the inner thighs. So if you're feeling that, your knees and toes are pointing up towards the ceiling, perfect. Good job. Make sure that you're breathing. And as you inhale, walk your hands in as the torso comes on up. Using your hands behind the knees, gently guide the feet back in front of you. And we're going to keep the knees bent, sitting up nice and tall. Bring your hands behind your thighs, bring the chest forward, nice and strong. On an exhale, tip back for boat pose or Navasana. See if you can get your feet up off of the mat. Make sure you can breathe. And you might find that this is plenty for you tonight. And if it is, perfect. Just keep doing this. Keep breathing. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can bring the shins to parallel and extend your fingertips straight ahead or some variation thereof. You get to pick. Keep breathing. All right. We're going to take our peace fingers, which is your pointer finger and your middle finger, and grab a hold of the big toes. And this might be plenty. In fact, you might be cheering that you're doing this right now, which is awesome. But if you want to try something more, you're welcome to try coming to a seated, balanced wide-legged seat. A balanced wide-legged seat. There we go. Nice and strong in the core. If your legs aren't straight, don't worry about it. If you're holding on to your ankles rather than your toes, that's cool too. And if you're still holding on to the backs of your legs with your knees bent, perfect. I want you to be doing what works best for you. If you're holding on to the toes, release and bring your shins to parallel. And then everyone release and come to a cross-legged seat, sitting up nice and tall. Good job. All right, extend your legs straight out in front of you once again for Dandasana. Notice if maybe the backs of your legs are a little bit more open. Maybe it's a little easier to straighten them now. Inhale to float the arms up. Exhale to hinge at the hips and fold forward, releasing your hands wherever is comfortable for you right now. On an inhale, reach through your fingertips, bringing the arms up overhead as the torso rises. Exhale and release your hands down by your sides. Bend your right knee, placing the right foot flat on the floor. Keep sitting up nice and tall. Keep your left foot flexed. Bring your left hand to the bent knee. As you inhale, sweep the right arm behind you for a twist, following with your gaze. On an exhale, unwind back to center and switch sides. So right leg extends, left knee bends with the foot flat on the floor. Sit up nice and tall. Right hand goes on the shin. As you inhale, sweep the left arm behind you, following with your gaze, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale to unwind back to center. Extend both legs straight out in front of you. Scoot on up to the top of your mat so your toes are up at the very top. And then make your way down to the floor so that you're laying flat on your mat. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. And then just find a nice long spine here. So maybe it would help to press your feet into the floor and lift the hips up a little bit. Press the back of your head into the mat and nestle the shoulders down. Really find length in the spine here. And then hug your knees in towards your chest and gently rock from side to side or front and back. Come to stillness and lower both feet flat on the floor. If you have a strap, grab it and unfurl it. If you don't have a strap, don't worry about it. Bring the right knee in towards your chest. Strap goes on the bottom of the foot as it extends up towards the ceiling. Again, if you don't have a strap around the foot, you can use your hands around the back of the leg, wherever is comfortable for you. Keep the shoulders relaxed down away from the ears as you gently pull the leg a little bit closer to the body. And then point your right toes up towards the ceiling. Really point them as much as you can to open up the top of the foot. And then flex the foot one more time. If you're using the strap, gently pull down on either end of the strap for more of a stretch here. Release the strap and lower your right foot down to the floor. Bring your left knee in. Strap goes around the bottom of the foot, or hands go around the back of the leg as you extend the left foot up towards the sky. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Pull the leg a little bit closer to the body. Gently pull down on the strap if you're using it as you press the sole of the foot higher. If you're holding on to the back of the leg, see if you can straighten the back of the leg a little more, pulling the leg closer to the body. Point your left toes up towards the ceiling. Point the foot as much as you can. Create some space in the ankle. Relax the foot, flexing it towards the ceiling one more time. And then release the strap and set it off to the side. Extend both feet up towards the ceiling and try to create a 90-degree angle with the hips here. Flex both of your feet and have the backs of the legs be as straight as they can. Engage your abdominal muscles, so pull the lower belly in, tuck the ribs. Think about pressing the low back into the floor. Extend your fingertips up towards the sky. On an exhale, see if you can use your abdominals to reach your fingertips higher. So lifting the shoulders, lifting the head, but no effort in the neck here because your core is so engaged. Make sure that you're breathing. As you exhale, slowly lower your head and shoulders down to the mat. Release your arms down by your sides. Bend your knees and place your feet on the floor, letting your feet be at about the edges of the mat. And then just gently let the knees fall from side to side in what we call windshield wiper. Your arms are down by your sides, wherever's comfortable. And you decide how fast or how slow you want your knees to move back and forth. But you have both knees heading over to the left, both knees heading over to the right, keeping the hips and the feet relatively connected to the floor. This is a little bit of a massage for the hips. Come to stillness with the legs. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees go wide. And bring your shoulders down on your back and the palms face up for Supta Baddha Konasana or reclined bound angle pose. And this is going to be our final posture before moving into Shavasana tonight. You're welcome to stay right here if this posture feels good for you. Another variation is to have the feet at the edges of the mat and let the knees fall in on each other to give a little space in the low back. If you want to take a traditional Shavasana, extend the legs straight out on the mat with your feet mat width apart and let your feet relax off to the sides. Make sure your shoulders are nestled down on your back, arms are down by your sides with your palms face up. And really let yourself take up some real estate here. So this is a sun salutation solstice kind of a class. So imagine right now laying in this shavasana that you're soaking in some rays outside, enjoying the sun. So let the backs of your hands be off the mat. Let yourself take up some space. Close your eyes. Connect to your breath. And let the effects of your practice start to settle into your body, to your mind, to your energy. Enjoy the firm, secure support of the floor beneath you. Connect with your breath and just rest. With each exhale, just let yourself melt into your mat. There's no more effort to your practice, so just rest. And I'll ring a bell and guide you out when we're done. Allow your breath to deepen and let some movement return to your toes and your fingers. On your next inhale, reach your arms up overhead and extend your legs out nice and long for one last stretch. Hug your knees in towards your chest as you roll onto your right side. And then using as little effort as possible and keeping your eyes closed, make your way up to a seat, sitting up tall and bright like you did in the beginning. When you find that seat, bring your palms together in prayer in front of your heart. I hope that tonight you've enjoyed our exploration of Surya Namaskar. Maybe it's given you some ideas for your own home practice or shed a little bit of light on this really popular yoga sequence. I'm so delighted that you came and practiced tonight and took in a little bit of extra sun. We're going to close our practice by chanting Om, and we'll chant it just one time. Take a full exhale. and a deep inhale for Om. The light in me honors and acknowledges the light in each of you with great respect. Namaste. Thanks for showing up to class. Thanks for practicing. And enjoy these long days and our sweet summer solstice coming up. I'm so glad you were in class. Be well.